Hello, everyone, and welcome to VENDO Velocity webinar. We are super excited to have you today with us this morning, and we're even more excited to welcome Bradley back to our podcast. We're switching things up, as I said. Unlike our normal bi-weekly podcast, we're actually going to be doing a bit of a deeper webinar with Bradley. Always a great opportunity to dive into what's new at Helium 10 and all the great things that they're building. VENDO and Helium 10 have been partners for quite some time now, a few years, and Bradley has come onto the VENDO Velocity podcast 3 to 4 times now. So we're happy to have him back, going through a few of the hard-hitting strategies for 2025 that all brands need to be taking advantage of, and we really appreciate you joining us here today. Bradley, if we could start with a quick introduction. I'm sure everybody knows you at this point, but would love to do a rundown of who you are and what you do at Helium 10.
Awesome. Thanks for having me back. My half Filipino, half American sister from another mister here. For those who don't know, that's what I am too. That's how originally met at $1 billion source, and I was like, wait a minute, Filipina, like kind of like the
Filipina.
stereotypical thing that Joe Coy says in his bits. But anyways, um, my name is Bradley. I'm the VP of Education and Strategy here at Helium 10, and I've been here for about 7 years almost this year. And but I'm also an Amazon seller and just very passionate about the whole process. Uh, I actually didn't even start selling on Amazon, so I worked here. But before I had started my own stuff, I had launched already hundreds of products for other people before I worked at Helium 10. But then as I started working here, I'm like, I can't be out of the game and try and like educate or talk from any sense of authority because things on Amazon are changing so much that I have to be like deep in it. So that's when I stopped being a consultant to work for Helium 10. I'm like, well, I did better start some accounts myself and so I can be in the game and I definitely say like in the last year or so, like probably more things have changed, some good, some bad than ever before on Amazon. But it's been a fun journey. Got to take the bad with the good.
Absolutely, and that's what I've always appreciated about Bradley is he's not just selling Helium 10, of course, but he has firsthand experience as a seller and can really give everyone some best tips and practices around how to really optimize your listings, but also grow your overall market share on the Amazon platform. And I know they've expanded beyond that. We'll talk about TikTok Shop a little bit here today, but a few of the topics that we're going to be covering, of course, keyword research and strategy. I think what Helium 10 does better than everyone else, of course, and then decoding brand share of voice. We're going to go a little bit into how you can really understand what the market looks like on Amazon, how you're growing your overall market share, and two, how you're benchmarking versus the competitive landscape as well. We'll also touch a little bit around product innovation opportunities. I know that Amazon's a very saturated space. So at this point, years into your seller journey, you might be saying, wow, all of these markets look super saturated. Well, let's better understand how we could utilize Helium 10's tools and also Amazon's own data points to see where those opportunities lie. And then lastly, as I had noted, TikTok Shop and the booming buzz around TikTok Shop lately and affiliate specifically. It all starts with the listings and laying the groundwork for the listings, because at the end of the day, you can have a great video, but if the customer goes to check out and they see the listing super poor, they're ultimately not going to get that sale. So really important that we're starting with some of the fundamentals, and then Bradley's going to also be adding his take on some of the more advanced selling strategies that everyone should be taking advantage of in 2025. So Bradley, let's kick it off first with some keyword research and strategy and just go through kind of how you look at starting the groundwork from day one. You're launching a product, you want to understand which keywords you need to be winning on. And then we'll talk a little bit about Rufus and how your job, I'm sure, in explaining that has gotten a little bit more difficult in the past few months.
Yeah. So first of all, while I present, I want like I can do some examples. I was planning to do some examples just on as I have as a backup plan. Something that like I sell or that I know about, like coffin shelves or collagen peptides or something. But while I present something here and like the reason why we're going over these topics, If you guys, I'm not sure if you guys have access to the chat or it's the Q&A. But first of all, let me know where you guys are watching from. I always like to see international audiences. But maybe you can put like a product that we can use as kind of like our guinea pig, and instead of slides, which you know none of us always like to see slides all the time. I wanted to do everything live because I wanted to show people that these strategies are not stuff that I'm going to try and prepare in the background until I get a perfect result, and then like you guys can't believe is this a real life situation or not. You guys show me a product. It could be your product. It could be a product you're thinking about. It could be just something random that you've bought lately. And I'm gonna take a look at the chat and or Q&A depending on, it looks like you guys have access to the chat, but give me something specific too. I see somebody said coffee, like something um something that is specific while I'm talking. But first of all, you might be thinking about, wait a minute, it's 2025. Why are we talking about keyword research? And this is actually important. The whole reason that I even wanted to do this as a subject is that sentiment exactly. It's that we live in this world where people are forgetting the bread and butter and what makes money, and people are getting distracted by some of the changes that Amazon and other platforms are making. And yes, you should be always on the cutting edge of things that are happening. TikTok Shop is kind of a shiny new platform. You should be you know thinking about it. I mean, that's something that is proven to make people sometimes millions of dollars, sometimes more money there than on Amazon, which you can't always say about like Walmart. It's very, very, very few people make more money on Walmart on a certain product. I know some people who do, but I know a lot of people who are actually in the first few months of selling on TikTok Shop surpass. So yes, I'm not trying to say, oh, just try and stay stuck in 2018 when it comes to Amazon. But here's the thing. I'll give an example. I even have this one. I actually do have a couple of screenshots just because I can't recreate this live. But one of my biggest pet peeves lately is what you mentioned, which is like Rufus. And
Mhm.
and like I said, guys, we need to always understand what is cutting edge on Amazon, what's around the corner. Um, Alexa just got a new like announcements, and it's going to be Gen AI. Like you should be thinking about that kind of stuff. Like even though there's nothing's like solid, you don't know. Alexa, I'm not talking to you. That's what always happens whenever I say that word. But yeah, I mean, that might have happened in your house. Alexa, stop. All right. Stop trying to butt in on those webinar. But
Bradley's
anyways,
triggering all the Alexas.
all right. But who knows what's going to happen there? Like, is it going to be Gen I? Does that mean that maybe sellers need to start thinking about, Alexa more coming up because the shopping experience? Who knows? Yes, but you need to be thinking about this. Like, if new cutting edge things didn't matter, we wouldn't have a section of the Serious Sellers podcast called the Weekly Buzz, where we like literally give the whole week's announcements because you always need to know what's going on. But what's happened is sometimes people are putting way too much effort on these new things that are not like documented, and they're getting distracted. And I'll tell people that on Amazon, yes, it is about doing the things that move the needle 0.5% here, 1% here. Not everything you do on Amazon is going to like move the needle 50%. When we some of the strategies I'm going to talk about today with keyword research, it's not meant to increase your sales 50%. But if you find one keyword here that can bring you one sale more a month, of course you will take the 10 seconds to add it to your listing. You find one keyword here, incremental growth is what Amazon is about. So it's not like, oh, we can only concentrate on things that move the needle 15%. But what I've noticed in the last like 3 months happen when I do one-on-one calls with Helium 10 customers, or just talk to people at conferences, is people are getting so obsessed with some of these fringe things, they're actually forgetting the basics.
Mhm.
And when you do that, you are leaving tons of money on the table. Like I've talked to people who are so concerned about Rufus and optimizing for it, and they didn't even know what search query performance was from Amazon. I'm like, yo, like search query performance is going to do 100x. Like if you're, it has nothing to do with Helium
Yep.
10. Actually, I'll show you guys a little preview of maybe our search query performance tool that nobody has seen before. Those
There we
people who
go.
stay to the end. But oh yeah, by the way, you know what? Anybody who stays to the end who's on here, I'm just gonna do something wild here. I'm going to give you guys my personal sourcing agent. It has nothing to do with Helium. The person who sources all of my products in China. my boots on the ground. Like I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm feeling a little bit giddy today. But so yeah, don't leave, and this won't be on the replay. Like I'll only put in the chat, which won't be in the replay. So stay to the end, or else you won't get my personal sourcing agent. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh yes. So what I've been talking to people, and they're like, oh yeah, I've been trying to really revamp my listings and look at all this Rufus. And let me just tell you guys, if I have optimized my listing completely, I do look at Rufus. Like it does, I think it's important to know potentially what kind of questions people are asking about products and things. But you cannot do this stuff at the kind of like expense of the bread and butter. And let me just show you guys some facts and figures. First of all, why Rufus is actually kind of cool. All right, so let me just show you guys a quick example. And this, like I said, this was the only part that's going to be slides because I was just taking screenshots the other day. Um, but you guys should be able to see my screen in a second. This was one of our coffin shelves that we have. A lot of you guys may or may not know that's one of the first products I started selling was shelves shaped like coffins. But one of the Rufus questions on there, it said, "How sturdy and durable is it?" All right, and you can see the answer. And this is a screenshot directly from the listing. That's why it looks a little weird here. It says, while the product description doesn't mention durability, customers generally have mixed reviews on sturdiness. Some say it's sturdy, others don't, blah, 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 blah. So, first of all, it's only kind of halfway positive here because
Mhm.
it's saying, first of all, that my description didn't mention it. And it says that other people are saying yes, some people say no, right? So the only kind of like it's kind of like a negative vibe. So I was like, you know what? How can we change that? So what I did was I went in, and this is a screenshot from Seller Central. I actually create a bullet point. I don't this account, guys, is not like an account that goes to my bank account or anything. Like it's Helium 10 pays for it. They get the money. It's whatever. Like I do experiments all the time that I probably wouldn't do on a regular account. But anyways, I threw into the chat or the bullet point editor, Seller Central. It's a random bullet point, but something that said about the sturdiness and durability. I said, due to the strong MDF wood construction. Again, this is I'm not trying to show what professional copywriting is. This is definitely not it. The coffin shelf is sturdy and durable and will not buckle under moderate weight loaded on it. All right. Now, within like maybe 1 hour or a little bit less, it actually updated. This is the Seller Central side of, or the Seller Central, the consumer side of things, where here the bullet point that I added is there. Now, 15 minutes later, sometimes when we change something on the listings, it takes a while to get indexed in Amazon search. As we know, like even if it changes on the listing, you're like, we might have to wait a day or so. But
Yeah.
15 minutes later, I asked Rufus the same exact question on the same page. How sturdy and durable is it? Because that was the one that was like pre-selected. It was like a pre question. And listen to this. According to the product description, it is sturdy and durable due to its strong MDF wood construction. And then it continued on with the mixed reviews. So in 15 minutes, it updated. So that's great. Like that's pretty cool. Even other questions it was asking: is it suitable for outdoor use? There was another random question, but it is constructed from strong MDF, so it could be able to withstand some outdoor elements. Now, first of all, that's kind of a danger too when you're talking about AI, because like no, like just because something is made of this wood doesn't make. I don't want these coffin shells are not meant to be outside. It's going to get messed up, So sometimes it can make a mistake, but the point here is that you make one little change to your listing, Rufus picks up on it right away. Now that could be good, as in the sturdiness. It could be bad, like in this situation. So that's the part that's good. And like I said, I literally changed my listing because of something I saw in Rufus. Most people don't use Rufus. Do you use Rufus Delaney like as a shopper? Like, does it help
No,
you at all?
no,
No.
not yet.
And part of the reason because it sucks. Like from a buyer's standpoint, like it makes mistakes and stuff like that. But um, I did this PickFu poll. I'm like, hey, how many of you, to Prime? I was like, hey, Prime members from this age, whatever. And most people, like 85% don't use it at all. 4% use it to find products, and like 8% had used it to like get more info on a product page. But some of the other things that kind of show like how you need to put it into perspective. Let me just show another thing right here. Hold on here. By the way, here's another thing that people are like, oh, I have to change my images to be Rufus friendly. Now here's another thing that's important. First of all, people have speculated that hey, Rufus can pick up on text in like infographics. Let me tell you, that is 100% correct. All right. So, for example, I think I gave a example here. Can shelves be adjusted or removed? And it actually, as you can see here, it gave the image in the answer of Rufus. All right. It says, yes, the shelves can be removed. It includes 3 removable shelves. So it referenced the description where I say that, and then it referenced the picture. Now here's the other thing. While it indexes text, this is not something you guys should be using for indexing. And the reason is you only have like 7, 8 images, maybe 2, 3, 4 of them will be infographics. If something is so important, like it's such a key feature of your product that it's going to be in an infographic, it's pretty important for your listing. It should be somewhere else in your listing. Like you shouldn't be just like, oh, this is so important. I have to have an image about it, but it's not important enough to be anywhere else in my listing. Of course not. What about this one? Well, yeah, the fact that this is the only coffin shelf that has removable shelves, I absolutely put in my listing, and that's why it says the product description states. So yes, it knows that this was in my image, but guys, this is not something that you should be using to index. Like there's no scenario where something should be in the image and not in the rest of your listing. So that's another. It's like, so what that it indexes? It's great to know, and it'll help people who use Rufus, but don't be using it, so much like that. Um, does it allow for different arrangements? Yes, it does. Okay, so again, it reads the stuff in the image, but then sometimes here's another image. It says how many art hardware options for hanging are there. You can see here I put 2 hardware options. This is an example where I didn't have this in the product description because it's actually not that necessary. This is just a test listing I had. Nobody cares that it's 2 hardware options. I don't know why this made it to the image. Whoever decided to make this image put it there, but it wasn't that important, and thus it's not in the description, the specificity that there's 2 hardware options. But look what it says here. It says the product information doesn't specify the number. It's funny. It says that, but it's like literally right here. It even gives the picture, but it doesn't matter. I don't care. If I cared that there was 2 hardware options, if I thought, I would have put it in the listing. So again, there is limitations of what it can derive from that. There is another example of how it says, are coffin shelves suitable for displaying memorabilia or keepsakes? This was like the pre-suggested thing. Now, I will guarantee you guys, there is not one gothic person with black makeup and black lipstick out there who is into coffin shelves, who has ever in their entire existence written somewhere, are coffin shelves suitable for displaying memorabilia or keep? That is no. Okay, so from this we know that that right. I mean, does that make sense? Like yeah, you got this like person with
Yeah.
like earrings all over their face and into like spooky things, and they're not using this kind of language. So again, Rufus is not even necessarily something that it's like, oh, so many people have asked this exact question, so we have to do it. So again, guys, Rufus is great to look at, but don't be just like focusing on it. Now, the last thing I'll show you guys to really show how like little it's used. But again, I don't want this to be like a Rufus bashing show. I've told you guys, I do optimize my listing for Rufus, but only after I've done everything else because of how little impact it should have. Now, take a look here. Um, this is very interesting. When you ask a question to Rufus, it'll sometimes give these like images and links. And you might wonder, what are these going to this product? No, these are actual search terms. So if I click one of these, it actually populates as a search term. So this is just like a regular search. It's not like a Rufus search. You just click that button that comes from Rufus. It literally makes a regular search. And what does that mean? That means it's going to be kind of like counted in search query performance in Amazon brand analytics. So you can actually see, hey, how many times are people clicking or using Rufus in order to like help their search? And so I took this keyword, decorative coffin shelf, black wood. Like for example, here's my product. My product is showing very first. So obviously, if anybody has ever searched for this, I'm going to get an impression. Now, the first thing I looked at was brand analytics, and it wasn't even one of the top 4 million searches, which means it probably doesn't even have 50 search volume for the week, right? So I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
well, 50 people haven't clicked on this Rufus. That's not saying much. But how many less than 50 have done it? So what I did was I look in search query performance. Now, here's the thing about search query performance. It will show activity for your brand, even if you only got one impression, meaning that whether something was searched, even if something was searched only one time, if your product shows up on the top of page one, it will show up in search query performance, even if it was only once in the entire week. As you can see from here, this is just an example. So I knew that, hey, this is going to tell me exactly how many times people search for it, because anytime somebody searched for it, I would have had an impression since I was at the top of the search. So I downloaded a couple examples of those keywords. One of them was something about urn holder, and the other one was decorative coffin shelf. Nothing came up in the search or in search query performance. What does that mean? That means not one person in the whole week hit that link in Rufus. So again, my point is that it's been one of my pet peeves lately, because it just kind of like really angers me sometimes when I see people leaving money on the table because they're focusing on the wrong things. And that's why we're doing this webinar today, is remembering, hey, there are basics that you guys need to go to. And if you have all those basics done, absolutely optimize for Rufus, because that's what Amazon is about, doing things that move the needle just a little bit. But anyways, what you've never seen me probably present this kind of stuff before, but what are your thoughts on that, Delaney? Do you agree, or are you one of those people who's like, no, you need to do Rufus at the expense of everything else?
No, totally agree with that. I think the foundation is always going to be keyword research. And then, of course, checking ranking within Rufus, make sure that you're showing up, adding descriptive keywords where you can,
Yeah.
great. But that's all on top of the foundation that you're setting, or else you're not going to index, you're not going to rank, and Rufus optimizations are all for naught. Because as Bradley clearly just outlined, even if you go through search query performance, the customer has not shifted towards searching that way or buying that way yet.
Yep.
So again, there's still a heavy keyword focus. I'm curious, Bradley, because on top of Rufus specifically, I think what a lot of brands are doing now are just entering some prompt in ChatGPT and saying, okay, I'm actually just going to use ChatGPT to write my listing, and I can do that in 30 seconds to a minute. I think that's like the whole other side of things where
Yeah.
it's like, I can crank out 50 listings in 3 minutes. Obviously, ChatGPT doesn't have all of the Amazon insights that Helium
Yep.
10 is directly extracting. So, talk a little bit about that too, and just some of the limitations you've seen when brands just decide to do that. I'm sure they're very
It's
similar.
funny. It's funny to say that. I spent like half the night. I only slept like 3-4 hours last night, but preparing a podcast that's actually going to come out this Saturday. Usually I do podcasts, it doesn't come out for weeks, but that is like the second most important topic I see lately, where people are using ChatGPT in the wrong way. It's like they're doing it exactly what you said, where
Yep.
they're just saying, "Hey, this is the kind of product I have. Here's a couple of the features. Here's a picture, and then write this listing." Is it going to make a decent looking listing faster than a human, and something that will resonate with customers? I think so. ChatGPT is pretty good as long as you prompt it well. But if you're not putting the right keywords in there, you're not going to. Amazon is still about getting indexed for keywords, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Will
Right.
it morph over time? Yes. But it's not like it's going to become Google because when you're using Google, the reason why AI has kind of taken over Google is because that it's like that's the way you search. Like you're looking
Hmm.
for a result, and you want to get like how what is the best interior for a podcast studio, and you want to see pictures, and you want to get like a summary of it. That's not the way you shop. Like if I
Right.
want a insulated water bottle, I don't need an AI summary for that. So like I cannot see anytime soon the process of typing in insulated water bottle in search and seeing the products that exactly fit my description. Like how can you improve on that? Your AI cannot improve on that. Like if anything, it will make the process slower. Imagine if it made it this whole back and forth
Right.
AI conversation that doesn't help the buyer. So I don't see the core functionality. Now, one day, in the future, it might morph a little bit. And yeah, you got to adapt. But what happens is if you just rely on ChatGPT or DeepSeek or whatever you're using, um, it'll make a nice sounding listing. But you are
Right.
not even going to be in the search results for most of the keywords, especially the fringe ones, because it's not a garbage in, garbage out. It's nothing in, nothing out.
Yep.
Like if you don't put the keywords in there, which is why, in Helium 10 and our listing builder, we're not going to badmouth ChatGPT. Helium 10 listing builder literally uses ChatGPT as our
Yep.
AI writer. But guess what? We're also inputting to ChatGPT all of the keywords that you did that we're going to talk about some of the strategies today in your keyword research. And so, guys, if you're absolutely use ChatGPT, use AI to help your Amazon business. But if you don't use it in the right way, you're kind of screwing yourself. So I'm literally doing a podcast. I was gonna record it last night, but I was like, you know what? I need to sleep at least 2-3 hours before this webinar. So I'm like,
There
I'll
you
just
go.
record it today. It'll come out Saturday, and I'm doing that. I'll show an example of what happens when you just use ChatGPT by itself, or number two, you use like one of the actually made for Amazon sellers ChatGPTs, but still no keywords.
Right.
It's going to be
Right.
better than just using ChatGPT by yourself because there's some smart people out there who have really made some amazing prompts, and then show you the difference of what happens when you actually first do the keyword research and then use AI or ChatGPT to make the
Yep.
listing, and then how many keywords you end up not being able to rank for when you use the other strategies. It's going to be, I think, mind blowing for some of you guys, and hopefully wake you guys up that you can't just like turn over everything to AI without the proper inputs.
So what I'm hearing here, Bradley, time and time again, is you better start with your keyword research first, or you're not going to rank, you're not going to index to
Yep,
the maximum potential on Amazon. Whether that's using ChatGPT, whether that's using Rufus, yes, use them. They're beneficial. They'll help to create efficiencies. They'll help with ranking in some regard and tweaks with your listings. But foundation is always going to be keyword research. So let's go into
absolutely.
that a little bit, Bradley,
Yep.
on where do I start, right?
So I
Do
saw
you,
somebody, Debbie, in
yeah.
the chat here and in the Q&A. So that's why she wins here. She's like, hey, I want to make sure that my choice gets chosen. She put here commercial paper shredder. So I just entered that into search here. So just really quick, how many people? I assume that almost everybody here is already using Helium 10. Um, so just let me know in the chat if you are or aren't. I'm going to be showing you guys, of course, how to do stuff with Helium 10. But even if you don't use Helium 10, the strategies are still solid. Like whatever tool you're using, hopefully it has similar to these abilities. So still like pay attention because even if you don't have Helium 10, these are still the strategies that you guys should pick. So let me know in the chat. And then if most people do use Helium 10, and I can just kind of like talk, assuming that everybody knows some of these things. Wendy says yes. David. Oh, Sierra says she's trying to trigger me. Look at that. Sierra says, I'm not using Helium 10. I only use I think she's just trying to trigger me. Like,
Well, we'll convince her to use Helium 10 after this.
Jeff says yes. Okay, so most of you have maybe Sierra doesn't, but so I'll kind of explain some things for her. But most everybody knows exactly what I'm going to show here. So the first step is looking at, hey, what are the top players in this niche? So we're going to make a make believe thing here. Maybe Debbie is looking into this niche. I'm actually um talking about big expensive products. I just it just arrived like 3 days ago. I'm doing a test on one of my first ever large products, and it is a Korean barbecue table. So I have
Mm.
never done on Amazon like large oversized products before, but I just got some samples in. Gonna make a test listing this week. But anyway, so here's another large oversized product, a very expensive one. Commercial paper shredder is what Debbie had said. So what I want, what you want to do first of all is just is see what the main keywords are. So, one thing that I like to do is, hey, if this is my main keyword, I am going to definitely check which ones are the top sellers on the page. And so let's just go ahead and select. We got a bestseller badge here. We got one here. Let's pick a few more products around the $200 range. Okay. And here, let's go ahead and run Cerebro in the background. Let's just take a look a little bit more at this niche. It's kind of interesting. Oh, okay. I see what this product is. It's just like, hey, you have a lot of stuff you need to get rid of evidence on. This is what you buy. 250 bucks. Oh, I thought it might be more. Okay. This is what the Rufus team at Amazon is doing after they saw this presentation. Okay, so we know what this product is. Product between like two, three, $400, and wow, good grief! There's some ridiculous. There are 2,000 people, shady people out there who've got stuff to destroy that they needed this one. That's kind of I would have never thought that there's that many people buying paper shredders. So who knows? Maybe this is a good niche for Debbie. But you put in all the relevant keywords is what you want to start adding to your list. So obviously it's not 3,000 keywords. And this here in Helium 10, we're not saying that there's 3,000 relevant keywords. Cerebro is a tool that just gets any keyword that is connected to a niche in many different ways. So how do we get to the main keywords? The very first way is easy. It's just with a click of a button. Just hit the top keywords. All right. And now this is going to show the keywords that most of the top sellers are ranked highly for. All right. So these are the keywords where, hey, at least like 3 out of the 5 or 4 out of the 6, they're all ranking for it and probably ranking highly. And so instantly we got 58 pretty good keywords here. Commercial shredder, that was the keyword that we used, I think, to find it, or commercial paper shredder it was. Heavy duty shredder for business. Office shredder heavy duty. Now, how do I know that these are very relevant to the niche as a whole? If I go over here to the right and I look at, and I put my mouse over something like right here, this is showing me out of all the competitors that I put in there, they're all ranking for it. All right. And then look at the ranks. One of them is rank one is rank two, one is rank three, and one is rank 20. The bottom one is just the throwaway, the seed product that I put in there. But yeah, when you have specified top sellers, like maybe it's top 5 or top 10 that are very relevant to your niche, and all of them, not only are they all on page one, but they're all at the top of page one. Well, yes, that is obviously a good keyword. So this is just the easiest no-brainer way. You need to add these keywords to your keyword list. Another one I like to do is what I call opportunity keywords. And this is where maybe only one or two of the products are ranking for it. All right. Now, for example, we've got here, let's food shredder. Why would you want to shred food? But this is why you do stuff, because sometimes keywords that are loosely relevant, but one person is just making a killing on it. Like, for example, let's just take a look at this electric paper cutter, right? Why did this show up? Well, this showed up because where is this? There's only 3 people ranking for it, but one person is in the top 10 pretty much. So that means that, hey, that person's getting a few sales for this keyword, even if it's like loosely relevant. It's not like most of these keywords are not going to be highly relevant that in your mind, but to somebody it's relevant because they literally use it to buy the products. And so this is good to add to your keyword list to kind of round out your keyword research, because these are keywords that are definitely have brought sales to your competitors that you had put there, because otherwise they would have never got on page one. But unlike those other keywords where you're competing with everybody, you're only going to compete with like one or two. by definition. That's the whole reason. That's the whole filter that this thing shows. So this is an important way to find keywords that you're not going to have to compete with a lot of people, but it's not keywords that you're going to put a lot of money into because some of this doesn't have to do with it. But you'll find good keywords like here, cortadora de papel, paper cutter, right, in Spanish. So only one or two competitors are indexed or are ranking highly for that keyword, and that actually is a relevant keyword. Just that the other people have kind of missed it. So that's an easy one. So we just did 2 clicks that take 1 second to do, and we've already got 70 decent keywords that are guaranteed to bring sales. And now compare that to that Rufus, which takes forever to do, and that nobody even searches for. So this is again, this is why I hope you guys see the contrast here. This is why these are the kind of strategies you need to be focused on. Okay, so that's another one. Now, this niche, I do not think is a seasonal one. Like for example, let's just look at one of these here. I would imagine that, I mean, this is not like a big time Christmas gift. Hey, for the person in your life that you love, that you want to impress, this Christmas, buy a paper shirt. No, probably not. So, I mean, but who knows? Let's not never trust your own gut. You could be wrong. I could be wrong. So let's just look at like the BSR like history chart here. All of a sudden, everybody's like, all right, next Valentine's Day, I know what to get. Okay, like this one, yeah, a little bit slower yeah, in December. So like, yeah, definitely not a Christmas product. People are focused on other things, but as you guys can see, this is like a pretty stable product. So what I'm next going to show you is not necessarily applicable to this, but I think it's important for other products. Like, let me just show you an example of something. Can you give me something that is very seasonal, where you think it would be not so steady, Delaney?
Ooh, an outdoor bike.
Outdoor bike in California. This probably is not seasonal, but in Minnesota and other places and a lot of cold, yeah, you're not buying outdoor bikes in like December and January. So let's just take a look here. All time. Let me zoom in. Like the last couple of years. Let's just take a look here. Okay, you see a little bit more peaks and valleys. Like look how popular of a Christmas gift this is, and then it kind of like goes up. Looks like it gets popular in, look at that, summertime. See, look at this summertime, and people are buying it. But then once you get towards the end of the year, people are not buying it. So yes, whenever you guys see this, let me show you this that is super important, historical trend, because now you want to see, hey, what are the keywords that historically have brought sales? Like if I was searching for something super, super seasonal, like what just passed Valentine's Day. I just mentioned Valentine's Day,
Mhm.
right? Like right now, there's still probably selling, people who are like, whoops, I forgot that Valentine's Day. I need to get a gift after the fact. There's still probably something, but like 2 months from now, the Valentine's Day products are either going to be out of stock or almost selling zero, right? So what you do when that happens is take what I call a time machine. That's what this feature is, historical trend. How many have used this? Let me know in the chat. This is almost everybody's Helium 10 users here, but I would venture to say that most people probably haven't even clicked that button. Let me know in the chat. All these people like Jeff and Trish and Neil and Debbie who use Helium 10, I bet you, how many people have not used this?
This is
I
my
bet you a
favorite
lot of
tool,
them.
Bradley, for the record.
Yes. Look at that. Look at all the not yets. Look at that. That's exactly what I thought. All right. So you guys are leaving money on the table because if you have a seasonal product or even without a seasonal product, just because there's a set of keywords that are bringing sales right now, is that going to be the 100% exact set of keywords that brought sales in July of 2024? No. So you click this and then it's like taking a time machine of what Cerebro was for a group of products or a certain product back in these different time zones. And again, you're going to see a lot of like random keywords here. But again, you're going to use these filters to say, hey, where were some of the keywords that was like, let's say 500 search volume that was bringing it sales, and then you are going to see like random stuff, shred, like what the heck? Why are people? There's 1,000 people. Maybe that's a brand name. I don't know why 1,000 people in 1 month are going to put a dash, but who knows? People could have made a typo. Look at this. There are some people. This is terrible. People are segregating the way they shred paper. Like, no, I only want to shred white paper right here. Like, look, why are you guys searching for that? 700 people are doing that. Like, we didn't see that keyword right now, but hey, in July, people are trying to hate on white paper, and they're specifically looking for that. So you see, like, you can find, even in something that's not seasonal, you can discover other keywords. And anybody who has looked at Amazon data points like search query performance, that where you can look back in time, you're going to see a very similar trend. Now we're talking in the context of a brand new listing. Like, we're saying Debbie is making a brand new um paper shredder, meaning that Debbie doesn't have 2 years of search query performance to look at. So how do you do your keyword research? You got to base it on what other competitors have been doing, right? So again, use this historical to find what are the best keywords. Now here's another. Let me show you something cool. Another feature of this. This is doing this product. Let me just show you something cool. Let's look at this product one more time on Amazon, and I'm going to look at, this is not a good product because this is a brand new product. All right, let's look at another one. Let's go
Bradley, real
to,
quick, we got a question on where do you
yes.
click to get historical? Can you go back and show
So
how to
right
get it?
here, whenever you're in the results, uh, it's right here. This is a diamond. So like if you guys only have the platinum, you're not going to have this. This is something I would have paid $500 a month just by itself. Like when I didn't always work at Helium 10. Before I worked at Helium 10, I was using Helium 10, and I was like, man, I would pay you guys $400 if you had this feature. And then it took me 3 years after I worked at Helium 10 to get them to add it. But this is like the most valuable thing. So yeah, right here under keyword distribution, you'll see the historical trend button. So here is, oh, that's a bike. I wanted to click on another product here. Bonsen. What's with everybody naming brands of paper shredders like Bonsai, Bonsen? Very interesting. I see a trend here. Okay, now this is something you guys can do at any time, right? A keyword research that you guys can do at any time. And again, 99% of Helium 10 users, I bet, are not doing this. I didn't want to just focus on like the bread and butter. I wanted to show you guys like real money that you might be leaving on the table. So let's look. I'm going to zoom in just on a period of time here. Okay, here we go. This is good. So right here, look at this. In June, you can see their BSR is pretty low, 5,000, even down to 1,500. But then you look at July, it's 9,000, 10,000, 15,000. So their sales kind of fell off from June to July. It doesn't always have to be from seasonality, just for whatever reason. You're always going to see this. Now, there could have been other factors. I have no idea who these products are. There could have been a TikTok, virality going on where people were sending a lot of outside traffic. They could have done an email campaign. Who knows what happened, the real reason. But a lot of the times, you can kind of like correlate an increase or a decrease in sales based on keywords. Like maybe if you were getting a lot of sales, or you were on the top of page one for a cool keyword, you were getting a lot of sales. What happens when you drop from page one to page two? Are you going to keep getting that number of sales? No. So sometimes you can correlate peaks and valleys in sales. So we have June of 2023. We're talking 2 years ago, guys, to July of 2023. So what I'll do here is I want to go ahead and run this product. Let's clear the filters. Let me copy this one. Okay. Let me run it. I'm going to run Cerebro just on this product by itself. And I'm going to show you guys something cool. Okay, so let's do this from scratch. And we are going to hit monthly comparison. And what did I say?
June to July of 2023. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit June of 2023 to July of 2023. Let me unclick those and apply. And now I'm going to have like a 1v1 um kind of like match of what somebody was ranking for in 1 month and where did they fall off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, show me where a keyword that maybe had 300 search volume, and I wonder if Delaney knows about this. I know Delaney knows about historical, but I'm not sure if she knows about this, where in the month one, that was the month that was good, it was ranked between 1 and 10, but in month two, it fell off to like 11 to 306. Let's just see. Are there any keywords? And there were 9. So take a look at this. Here's an example. For whatever reason, this is a branded search, but they were ranked 5 in June, but then 50 in July. Could it be that they lost some sales from there? Probably. They were ranked on a very highly searched term, cardboard shredder, page 1, position 6. The next month, they were still on page 1, but they dropped to the middle of the page. Could they have lost sales there? Yes. Document shredder, thousands of searches. They went from 6 to 14. Magic shredder, they went from 6 to 39. Living Better shredder, they went from 6 to 75. Within seconds here, guys, we have found keywords where they dropped in rank and we see a corresponding decline in sales. So it's like that instantly tells us these are probably some pretty important keywords that once we start ranking for them, we want to keep that. We could do it the opposite. I could go from like maybe they had a good month in May, or a bad month, I should say, in May, and then a good month in June. Where did they increase their ranks in that time? I could also do this on the sponsored ranks. Where all of a sudden did my competitor increase their spend so that they were showing up at top of search from 1 month to the other? And if I correlate that with peaks in sales, valleys in sales, now all of a sudden I'm literally being able to see what were the keywords that cost them sales or that got them sales. Have you used this feature or this is new to you, Delaney?
That one's new to me. That's gold though. We
All
got to
right.
start using that for sure. That's gold.
Awesome, awesome. So I can do this for up to 3 months. So there's another aspect of keyword research that you guys need to be doing.
Bradley,
Another thing I
curious,
like.
long term, also what I would find helpful here would be being able to pull your own advertising insights directly
Sure.
from your I know it was called Adtomic, it's now just called ads, correct?
Yes,
So
correct.
if we could also include that long term to see how much were we spending on those targets, maybe it was a shift in spend, maybe it has something to do with inventory, right?
Yeah,
Of course, the
yeah,
brand would have that context, but I could see long term Helium 10 revamping in that way where you have some more of your own personalized insights for your account since that's all being pulled from the back end too.
yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
Cool.
Um, let's look at this. I mentioned before, if you are new in this niche, you're not going to have search trade performance, but you can still get Amazon data. If you're like, hey, I want to know guaranteed keywords that brought sales. Now, of course, with Cerebro, if it's a high search term and the product is on page 1 or the top of page 1, you don't need that. That's kind of confirmation that they must have gotten sales for that keyword, right? So what you do, if you still want to get information directly from Amazon about what did bring sales, let me show you something cool that you can do in Helium 10. You go into Black Box and ABA top search terms. ABA stands for Amazon Brand Analytics. Okay. Now, what I can do is I can search for one ASIN, right? And let's just search right here. And you can see, hey, for this week, they were one of the top 8, or these 8 keywords, they were one of the top 3 clicked. But watch this. I'm going to say for any of these weeks, I'm just going to pick tons and tons of weeks here. If you can do this in Seller Central, but what I'm about to show you, you can't do in Seller Central. I can go week by week and search. Hey, what were the keywords were they one of the top 10 searched? But at the same time, The inputted ASIN had more than 0.1% or 1% of conversion share. What does this filter basically means? Amazon is telling, not Helium 10, not an algorithm. This is
Mhm.
literally from Amazon's mouth that these keywords had sales. So it's kind of like a poor man's search query performance for products that aren't yours. So look at all the keywords that came up over time. This week, this product was only one of the top 3 clicked in only 8 keywords. But when you start looking at big periods of time, not only can you see where it was one of the top 3 click, but it could be a top 3 click and get no sales at all, because that's just what it is. So is that keyword very valuable? That's kind of arguable, right? But if they got guaranteed sales where they had some of the conversion share, then this is definitely an important keyword. So here, this is bypassing anything from Helium 10, as in just using common sense or using an estimation by Helium 10. No, this is direct from Amazon brand analytics, which is the same place that search query performance comes from. These are sales, or these are keywords that have definitely brought sales to the product. I bet you didn't know about this one either, or did you know about this?
I did know about this one,
Okay, you
yes.
didn't know
But
about this one, but did you know about
question
this?
on this though, on the conversion share metrics you have listed below, those are for the top 3 ASINs. What if you want to see for that ASIN that you inputted? Are you able to or no?
Well, that's the newer thing. That's what I did here, where I say the inputted ASIN it's got to be over 1%, meaning it got at
Got
least
it, but we
one
don't know
sale.
the actual
No,
percentage, correct?
and if I want to know the exact one, well, let's just take a look here.
You click in.
This says week 6, so I just open this
Cool.
up, and then was this bonsai? Yeah, bonsai.
There's bonsai and bonsen.
Yep, yep. And it's the 12, so it got 11% of all of the sales.
Gotcha. Cool.
All right,
Cool.
so
Okay,
that's the
clicking
way
into
you
it.
would do that.
Cool.
So guys, there's more here, but this, I hope you guys can see the clear difference. I mean, these are things that are guaranteed to be bringing product sales, and not just one here and one there. These are money-making keywords, and these are the kind of things that you guys need to be focused on. Is the stuff that either direct from the horse's mouth, Amazon, is telling you that is bringing product sales, or you can just infer based on what all of us know about the Amazon algorithm that Amazon is in the business of making money. So of course, the products that it's going to show at the top of the page must be the ones that are bringing sales. That give Amazon the best chance to get sales, because we don't. Amazon is not in this to as part of a charity or something. They're in it to make money. So this is just like the scratch of the surface of the kind of things that you guys need to be focusing on in keyword research. Even if you don't have I know in Debbie's situation, we were pretending that she was going to be new to this niche, but maybe Debbie is the bonsai brand, and she's like looking to round out her keyword research with other keywords that her competitors are getting sales from that maybe she's not. These are the same strategies that you use in order to go into your own product. Now, really quick, I forgot to share it. If you TikTok shop, just really briefly,
Yes.
you guys, or if you're a Diamond member, you're gonna have access. I think this might have been only to Elite members right now, but it's probably gonna be released to like Diamond members anytime now. You can go in and connect your TikTok shop token. All right. And some of you guys have 10, 20, 50, 100 listings. You're going to use this brand new tool called Listing Converter for TikTok. And what you want to do is you just select the product. All right. And then just hit, like, or 5 of them, and just hit bulk convert. What Helium 10 is doing is we're going to take your listing. There's no bullet points on TikTok. So we take your listing, we take your bullet points, we recraft it using AI. Again, AI definitely has its place. And then we make it optimized for TikTok shop. We import all your images upload it to TikTok shop. And within 10 minutes, you've got 50 TikTok shop listings that are optimized, where you haven't had to like copy or paste anything. You haven't had to download images, upload images. You can like bulk migrate your listings. And coming soon, we'll have an option for you to connect it to your multi-channel fulfillment, so that you can just instantly
Nice.
fulfill your TikTok shop orders, if you don't have your own warehouse, direct from your Amazon FBA inventory. And so there's pretty much no reason for you not to sell on TikTok Shop. So that's one thing that is coming soon. Another thing, I'll give you guys just a quick preview here. We
I
have this
hope it's
tool.
SQP. There
Yep.
we go.
Search query analyzer, where I can select, all of different products. And then again, instead of having to look one by one, I can just select multiple weeks and then, see in graphs and things like that. Hey, uh, what's my impression share? Like the stuff that you have to calculate now when you download these search query performance, it'll like, hey, what's my click share? What's my click through rate? What's the market click through rate? What are the keywords that got me purchases? Like, well, I got egg holder for fridge, egg basket for counter got me one sale. Hey, over time, how has my purchases gone up and down? How has my conversion rate gone up and down over time? How's the market conversion rate changed? So this is a brand new tool that Elite members will have. Actually, everybody's going to have this week. All Diamond members will have this week. And so that's one. And then one other thing that is available for anybody that's using Helium 10 ads is our share of voice tool, where I don't know if, I do have one here. This is like pretty advanced. So like if you're a brand new seller, I wouldn't recommend like going deep into this. You're fine with just like keyword tracker, but you want to start looking at maybe some keyword at the brand level. What is the share of shelf? And share of shelf is a little bit different than just keyword tracking, because when you're talking share of shelf, you can have like your organic position on a page, the paid overall, anything that's sponsored, and then paid, you can break down. What about sponsored product, sponsored brand product? Break it down to sponsored brand videos. And so it's kind of like, it's a different way to look at keywords, where it's like you're looking at all of the real estate on page one that not just one product, but your brand has compared to other brands. Like, what do we say about this niche here that not Bonson, but Bonsai had like multiple listings. They had like a 10-page shredder. They had a 12-page. Maybe they want to like take up 20% of the real estate on the keyword paper shredder, right? Well, they can track how is that. That's what we call share of voice. It's not just, oh, I'm ranked for this product position 5, but where's my organic rank? Where is my sponsored brand video ad showing up, or is it somebody else? Am I showing up in sponsored brand headline ads? My 10-page shredder, is that showing up in the search results as well? And then combine all that to say, hey, what percentage of page one do you have compared to others? So there's another kind of like advanced metric that is something you guys should be looking at.
That's awesome. Thanks, Bradley. Super excited about SQP. I mean, that was what, 2 weeks ago they opened up the API and you guys are on it. It's awesome.
Yep. Andrew Bell says, is this the number of keyword sales per keyword for that particular ASIN? So you can take the estimated keyword sales generated. I'm not sure. Wait, he said that at 952. I'm not sure if I was looking at search query performance. If it was search query performance, yes, it's that particular ASIN.
No, it was before that.
But if it was before that, that's showing the total sales that in a month or in a week that are generated. And so, yes, if you take that percentage, that's an estimate. I'm not sure if it's the same Andrew Bell, but if you guys want to know anything about ChatGPT, and so like there's somebody named Andrew Bell out there. I'm not sure if it's this Andrew Bell, but he's the guru of all ChatGPTs. And so like part of what I'm showing, I'm going to show you what happens when you use a good ChatGPT. That was literally what I was referring to when I said, hey, I'm doing a podcast where I'm showing what happens when you actually use something optimized for Amazon prompts, both without and with keywords, and how it's going to show the contrast. But yeah, anybody who wants amazing ChatGPTs for your product, just type in like ChatGPT, Amazon, and then Andrew Bell, and oh my goodness, you guys will just spend like 8 hours looking at his stuff. Right. Any other maybe 1 or 2 minutes here for questions? We kind of like went all the way up to the end.
Yeah, we can open up to questions here.
Any other questions, guys? What are options to counteract China's 20% tariff increase on imports? So for me, I get this question a lot. I don't worry at all about tariffs. And the reason is, for me personally, this is not for everybody. For me personally, almost all of my niches, I'm getting stuff from China. Like, I don't get stuff from China and everything. I source from India and a little bit, but most of my niches I source from China. But all my competitors are also sourcing from China. So that's why I don't worry about the tariffs, because everything just affects us equally. Like the stuff that I worry about is where it gives like an unfair advantage to one group of sellers over the other. Like I worry sometimes about Amazon Haul. Like maybe it's too early to worry about it, but like Amazon Haul, it's kind of unfair because only Chinese sellers can sell on Amazon Haul and US sellers can't, even if we have warehouses and factories in China. So that kind of sucks. I don't like those stuff. But tariffs, when all my competitors are from China, I'm like, hey, we're all getting affected equally by the same thing. So we're all probably just going to raise our prices or something, right? Now, where you need to be worried at is if in your niche, you notice that half the sellers are from India or half the sellers are getting their products from Pakistan or something like that. Well, now guess what? You are going to be in a little bit of a pickle if your prices are have a tariff increase by 20%, but your competitors aren't. So that's where I would worry. But if all your competitors are also sourcing from China, it's like, yeah, you just got to raise prices. Another quick thing I want everybody to do, and this doesn't matter what kind of Helium 10 plan you have. I'm going to share my screen really quick. This can kind of like help you with tariffs or just help you with your profitability in general. A very little known aspect of Helium 10 alerts, and this one actually doesn't have it here. But go into your alerts and look at the top left, and you're going to look for something that says size tier optimization. And if you have it in your account, it'll show up here. The reason why it doesn't show in mine is I don't have one that fits. What this is if you are close to like a size tier change by like 1 or 2 inches just on one side, we're going to put a notice there. And I had that in another one of my test accounts where there are coffin shelves. And I got the notification and it said, hey, if you decrease the height by 1.1 inches, you are going to go from bulky size to large standard size or something like that, whatever the heck it was. And that one move, $3.50 per unit less for fulfillment. And so I want you guys to calculate that out. Let me bust out my calculator here. $3. Let's say you're selling 10 units a day. That's $35 a day. You times that by 365. That's a $13,000 change if I can change my packaging by 1 inch. Now, obviously, if I'm selling a water bottle and there's like no dead space in this package, unless I make the water bottle actually smaller, I'm not going to be able to make a package smaller, right? But if you have like any dead space, like a half inch or a quarter of an inch, it'll tell you. And that is something that could mean way more than a tariff, a 20% tariff that's going to increase your cost by $1. So that's another way. So everybody who's got Helium 10, I know most of you guys have it. Go into your alerts page, just see, do you have anything under size here? Now, make sure all of your products are on alerts. It's not going to give you that notice too unless everything is being monitored. And that is something I did on one of my other accounts. And it's not going to get me $13,000, but it's going to give me, I calculated $5,000 this year. So that's another thing to do.
Bradley, is that automatically creating cases to Cubiscan and remeasure, or
no, like there's two. There's a lot of functions obviously alerts has. So if Amazon goes and changes your dimensions, like it was good, yes, you'll get a notice. Gotcha. Absolutely, that hey, Amazon went and added an inch, and then you'll get alert. You got to go, make your own claim to Amazon. But this is like, hey, whether you know it or not, you are like so close to the border of one of these size tiers. You might want to look at it and see if you can optimize it. That's just basically what this alert is for. Because sometimes maybe Amazon never changed your dimensions, but you just had no idea that whatever package size you chose was so close to another size tier. And so that's what this is meant for.
Perfect. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there then. Really appreciate you, Bradley, for coming and joining. I hope I get to see you soon. Maybe I'll bring you some Sinigang when I see you in person.
Yes, please. Are you going to $1 Billion Seller Summit this year?
I won't be out in Iceland. Are you going?
Yeah, I'm going.
Cool.
I'm going.
Fun. Yeah. Well, yes, maybe next year then I'll see you there, but I'm sure I'll see you in between that.
Awesome.
Thank you again for joining us here. Again, I hope that everyone saw a lot of value out of this webinar. Bradley always brings the heat, so we'll make sure to bring it back soon. Appreciate everyone for joining and have a great rest of your week. Bye, everyone.
Thank you guys. Bye.